Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my 2016 Best of Beauty, where I basically go over all of my absolute top-notch favorites of the year 2016. It was pretty hard to narrow down some of the categories, but I tried my best and I think I got it. I don't want to ramble on too long in the intro, so let's just get started. I think I'm going to try to do this in the order that I would normally do my face makeup, so let's start with primers. My overall absolute favorite, I almost can't do my makeup without it, is the Too Faced Hangover X, Hangover RX, however you want to pronounce it. This is just the primer of the year for me. I almost can't go a day without using it. It moisturizes my skin, it helps my makeup stay on really well. I just can't say enough good things about this product. However, a really good drugstore primer that way back in the day, my early videos, I used this all the time, and I have been using it more recently. I just picked it back up and it is a good product, and I'm talking about the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Illuminate Primer. It does just make your makeup adhere really well to the face, and what I also love about it is that it does illuminate without making you look oily. So sometimes I want to make my skin look more luminous, and this is what I will reach for. Next in my step, if you watch my videos, you know I have to color correct the redness and dark pigmentation that I have. And to do that, I like using the NYX HD Studio Green Concealer. This just works so well to me. It is very green, like it should be, and it stays on probably the best out of anything else that I have tried. So if you're looking for a green concealer, I highly recommend this one. I love foundations. I think they're my favorite thing to buy makeup wise. I don't know why, I just do. I'm always looking for the next best foundation, the foundation that works best for me. And I've tried a lot of different ones this year. And there's been some really good foundations that I do enjoy and that I wear pretty regularly, like the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. That one is really good, but when I think about over 2016, what foundation really just stole my heart and made me go like, wow, this foundation is amazing, I have to give it to the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. You haven't seen me talk about this on my channel so much. I did kind of start using it later in the year. I got it as a treat for myself for my birthday, which is in November. But right when I started using it, I knew that I loved this foundation. It is the foundation that I'm wearing on my face. It's very full coverage and I love that. The only drawback to this foundation, in my opinion, is that it's not very long lasting. It can be when I'm having a good skin day. I can probably get about 5 to 6 hours of wear, but I would not wear this on a 8-hour work day or however long you're going to be working. It just kind of starts to break up around my nose. But other than that, I love this foundation. I love that it's so full coverage. I love the finish that it gives off, and it is a little bit pricey, but in my opinion, I'm willing to splurge on foundation because that's what I'm putting on my face every day and I want it to look good. For concealer, I actually have two, and one of them I don't have with me right now. The first one is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. A lot of people love that concealer, and for a good reason. It's very full coverage, and even though I'm, like I said, not normally into luminous things or radiance, I do love that concealer. Doesn't make me look really oily. I love the finish that it gives off. It's just a really beautiful concealer. And the next one, I think everyone has put in their favorites, and that is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This concealer actually is so good in my personal opinion. It sets so nicely. Normally when I'm doing my concealer, I have to put it on, blend it out, and keep looking up so I don't get creasing right underneath my eye. With this one, I can put it on, blend it out, and I can look around and do other things and then go back and powder it, and I still don't have creases under my eyes. And to me, that is amazing because I have really creasy under eyes. So the only drawback to this concealer, me and my friend Libby talked about it, is that when you put it on your forehead or your chin to highlight, you have to blend it out immediately, because if you let it sit there, then you can kind of tell. For me, it's on my forehead the most. Like when I put concealer right here, I kind of do it in a little Like I do 3 lines normally, and you can see the 3 lines even after I try to blend it out if I wait too long before I do that. So it does set very quickly. That's the only drawback in my personal opinion. I do love this concealer. I have tried multiple face powders in 2016, and one of them I got in late December, and I do like it. It's the Laura Mercier powder, but I'm not including that in my 2016 favorites since I got it in later December and I didn't really use it throughout the whole year of 2016. I'm not going to include it, but I do think it's a good powder. So instead, I'm going to talk about the NYX No Filter powder. I made a whole video of my like flawless foundation routine, and it really highlighted this powder for me. It's beautiful. I actually need to get a lighter shade because I'm very pale right now, and this is my tan shade, if you can't tell. This powder just makes you look airbrushed and flawless, and I love the overall finish that it gives you. It's a great powder and it's drugstore, so I mean, what more can you want? What would be next? Let's talk about bronzers and contours. So I have tried out a lot of bronzers and contour powders, and I always like to mix it up. But in 2016, what really stole the show for me was the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I know this has been out for a while and everyone really likes it, but I picked it up, well, I got it for my birthday last year, which is in November, and so I didn't really use it much of 2015, but I used it a lot in 2016. If you can't tell, I'm hitting pan on, that was awkward, my little pinky hanging out there. I'm hitting pan on 3 of the shades, and I'm really surprised I haven't hit pan on this, but I love using this one to bronze the skin, and then I love using the lighter shade to actually contour with. I think these are great. If you're going to get one, I would definitely get the refillable palette because, like I said, normally you're not going to use all of these shades. Like, I don't tend to use these a lot. I do sometimes, but it's when I'm really tan, and that takes a while for me to get really tan. So I would definitely get the one with the refillable pans. That way when you run out of like these 2, I ran out pretty quickly because I used them a lot to highlight with. You can just get the pans and pop them in there and be good to go, and you don't have to buy a whole new palette. I do really like the formula of these, and I think they blend really well, and I love the fact that you get the light, the medium, and the dark side, so you can kind of mix and match depending on where your skin color is at. For blushes of 2016, both are drugstore blushes. I'm not a huge blush person, so I like to keep it pretty neutral, and I stick with the same blush for a good part of the year. So I really liked using this blush. This is the Milani Luminoso blush, and it's a baked blush. It has some shimmer in it. It's really good for all skin tones. It's just very peachy and light, and it's what I'm wearing today. It doesn't overpower your makeup look, and I really love that about this blush. My next favorite is the NYX Ombre blush, which I used in my last video, I believe. I used a lot of these products in my last video because they're my favorites. I'm going to be using my favorites on all of my videos almost. But it is in the shade Mauve Me, and I talked about it before, just why mine's messed up. I like to swirl my brush in there, and there's the darker to the lighter, and I really do like this. I use it when I have deeper makeup looks on because I'll take the darker shade and really focus it out there. But you can take the lighter shade and use it daytime. I like that it's one blush, but you can kind of create your own color, if you will, and I do like the formula as well. Next up is highlighters, and I am not a highlighter fanatic. That's not something that I personally like to do every day. I like being matte, but in the summer, like, I'm all about the glow. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on my mood. But there's only one highlight palette that I own, if you can believe it, that I love, and I just do not feel the need to buy another highlighter because I have this palette, and it is the Sleek Solstice highlighting palette. It comes with 4 shades. I, as you can tell, use this shade the most. It is the brightest shade, and then I like to use this one as well. It also comes with the cream shade, which I will use sometimes just to kind of act as a base if I want that highlight to be poppin'. And it also has this lavender shade, which I have actually used before, and it's very pretty as well. When I wear these highlights, I get asked all the time what I am wearing to highlight my face. And what I love about this is that it's relatively inexpensive. You have to get it, at least where I'm from, in Texas, you have to get it online. So with shipping and everything, it's, I think it was about $25, but you get 4 shades and they are beaming highlights. You can do subtle highlights with them, but you can also like really get it popping. What would be next? Eyeshadow primers. You know what I'm going to say. You know. It's going to be this bad guy right here. This is the Fergie Take on the Day eyeshadow primer from Wet n Wild. Discontinued, as I've said before. You can get it off Amazon. It just works so well in my opinion. I am willing to pay the more expensive price that it has now since it's discontinued because it works that well. I'm just not going to say any more about it. I've raved about it so many times. You get the point. For eyeshadow, again, something that you've heard me talk about so very often, the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette to me is just my everyday palette, and I can also do really fun looks. I can smoke it out. I love this palette. I love the warm tones. I love the pink tones. I'm all about a pink eye. Not pink eye, but pink eyeshadow. And this to me just provides every color that I would need. I can take this with me traveling and I don't have to bring another eyeshadow. There's nothing more I need to say. Go out and buy this palette. Another eyeshadow that I'm going to talk about is the Butter London Eye Gloss or Eye Glazen. I can't exactly remember the name. In the shade Oil Slick. It's this beautiful shade right here. I'm going to swatch it and see if it shows up a little bit differently on my hand than it does in the pot. There it is on my finger, and there is a swatch of it. You can just see like it just picks up different colors. It's so beautiful. I used it in my last tutorial on the center of my eyelid. Every time I wear this, people ask me, oh my gosh, like what are you wearing on your eyelids? And I'm like, it's this butter gloss, like and I love the texture of it. I love the idea of it. It does feel very like kind of like wet silly putty but it dries down like an eyeshadow would, and I don't know, I just love it so much. I love the color. I'm obsessed. For eyeliner, I also raved a little bit about this. It is the Tarteist eyeliner. I have the little mini version, but I will definitely buy the full version once I run out of this. This is the best eyeliner in my opinion. It's more liquidy than a mousse, but it's stiffer than a liquid, if that makes sense. It's just the perfect marriage of what I would want in a liquid eyeliner. It's beautiful, it's easy to work with, and I adore this. I'm so glad I found this. For mascara, I actually have 3 mascaras because I'm high maintenance and I cannot only use one mascara. So I've talked about this one before in my general favorites, I believe. It is the Maybelline Colossal Mascara. All of my labels have rubbed off on my products. That just goes to show that I use these a lot. What I like to use this with is the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes Mascara. I like to go in with this one first because it really separates the lashes and lengthens them, but this one adds a lot of volume. So if I'm not going to be wearing falsies, which I often am not, I will use these two, and to me it makes my lashes look the best that they possibly could. But for my bottom lashes, I like to use the Benefit They're Real Mascara. I have the tiny tube. I normally don't buy the large tube because it's, I don't know, the tiny tube lasts me a really long time, so I don't feel the need. Maybe one day I'll buy the large tube, but for now I just use the mini. And this really makes my lower lashes long. Like I already have longer lower lashes, but this just like makes them doll-like, and I really enjoy that effect. For brows, I kind of switched it up a lot on what the brow products I was using. I really did like the brow definer, but then now I'm using eyeshadow, and so it really just depends. Sometimes I'm feeling a certain way, sometimes I'm not. But the overall brow product that really stood out to me in the year 2016 is the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. This stuff is holy grail. I have mine in the shade Soft Brown, and it is kind of dark. But what I love about this is that it has fibers on it, and so it will kind of fill in your brows. I can go in with just this and it looks like I filled in my brows. And it does what it says. It volumizes your eyebrows and sets them in place, but it makes it look like you actually have brow hairs and your eyebrows aren't just drawn on, if you know what I mean. So I would definitely recommend this if you have full brows, if you have thin brows, please just give this a try. Moving on to lip products. I am a sucker for lip products. So there was a lot that I got this year, and again, had trouble narrowing it down, but I did it in lipstick, lip gloss, and liquid lipsticks. It's formula and it's also color, but I'm mostly going on formula-wise. Well, I'm just going to talk about them. So I'll start off with lipstick first. And for me, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on my channel, but it is the Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche, I hope I'm saying that right, lipstick. Mine has been abused, if you can't tell. It's a little nub and he's very ratchet, but I love this. This is in the shade Meringue. I love the lipstick color. It is perfect. I love the formula. It's very creamy, but it's also very matte. And I have never fell more in love with a lipstick than I have with this one. I was happily surprised by it, and this was my absolute favorite lipstick of 2016. For lip gloss, you probably saw this one coming as well. It is the Marc Jacobs what is this called? It is the Marc Jacobs Enamored Shine Lacquer Lip Gloss, whatever you want to call it. It's the Marc Jacobs lip gloss. Mine is in the color Sugar Sugar, and it's gorgeous. It has little gold reflex in it, but nothing like glitter. It doesn't look like a glittery lip gloss. If I'm going to be wearing a lip gloss, it's going to be this one. It gives me that wet lip look without being sticky, and I love that. I hate sticky gloss, and I think that's one reason why I'm so I don't like to try out glosses, because I hate that sticky feeling and I just don't like it. But this lip gloss, totally worth it in my opinion. Now for liquid lipsticks. I'm a sucker for liquid lipsticks. I love liquid lipsticks. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Too Faced Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick. Mine is in the shade Evil Twin. I wore this on my birthday. I think I wore it in my last video. I don't know. I got a bad memory, guys, okay? But I love the formula of this. It goes on so smoothly, it wears beautifully, and it's a little bit drying, but only after a few hours, and it's not enough to where I'm uncomfortable. I also really love the color of this one, and I thought about wearing it in this video, but I decided I've worn dark lips a little bit too much lately, and so I needed to give my lips a break. But I do really like this formula and the color. Lastly, can't believe this is my last favorite. Oh wait, no, I have a hair favorite. Well, I'm going to go into this one. Okay. So the other liquid lipstick formula and color is the Bare Minerals Gin Nude liquid lipstick. And this is the perfect nude for me. It's just a little bit mauvier than my natural lip color. And I love the formula. The formula is kind of more wet and it takes a longer time for it to dry down, but it's a lot more comfortable. And it's just a great everyday liquid lipstick, if that makes sense. So if you love a really matte lip, but you don't want to have to worry about your liquid lipstick becoming uncomfortable or kind of flaking off, I would definitely try the Gin Nude liquid lipstick formula. And the colors, they have a ton of colors, so you can find your perfect nude shade for your skin tone, preference, whatever it is. I really do enjoy this formula. Now for my last favorite. It is actually a hair product. I tried a lot of hair products this year as well. Well, a lot for me, you know. Dry shampoo is something I feel like girls just have to have. If you don't have dry shampoo, what are you doing with your life? You need it. I've tried different dry shampoos, and so far my absolute favorite, the one that just knocks it out of the park for me, is the Drybar Detox Dry Shampoo. Since I have lighter hair right now, I have the normal one. They also have a one for dark hair that is tinted, so it doesn't show that white cast on your roots or wherever you're spraying your hair, which is also really nice. This, to me, absorbs the most oils in my hair and doesn't give me that weird dry shampoo feeling that sometimes they can give you. I can spray this all in my roots one day, and I don't have to reapply it for 2 days because it stays in and it just keeps your hair looking fresh. I love that about this. It makes the product last a lot longer because it is a pricier dry shampoo than ones that you can find in the drugstore, but to me it is absolutely worth it. Okay, that was my overall favorites from 2016. Can't believe 2016 is over. We're in 2017 right now. Where's the time gone? I mean, honestly, I feel like 2016, I blinked and we're in 2017. I hope you enjoyed my favorites. I hope you try out some of these products and love them as much as I do. And I already know I'm trying some new products that I got for Christmas or maybe just this month in January. And I already know what I think is going to be my favorites for 2017. And it's only January. Thank you guys so much for watching and making my 2016 a great year. I hope 2017 brings you lots of joy and blessings and positivity to your life. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.